I was actually standing up and being pretty vocal about round 7, calling at the corner, totally unofficially, please stop this fight, although it was a little bit more colourful than that. What are your memories of that fight with Jeff Horn, who had come off that unbelievable victory against Manny Pacquiao? If you believe he won that fight, it was debatable in the States. What are your memories of that fight?
Well, I remember, a lot of boxing media talking about how big and how strong he is, and that I need to test the waters and fight somebody before moving up in weight and fighting the likes of Jeff Horn or Errol Spence or Keith Thurman, those type of guys. But I wanted to go straight into a champion when I moved up. Pacquiao was my ultimate goal. That was the fighter that I was, for years trying to get in the ring with, just to prove, who I was and to get my name where I wanted it to be, and that was at the top of the boxing world. Unfortunately, Manny Pacquiao lost to Jeff Horn, and I do believe Jeff Horn won that fight. A lot of people, it's debatable.
Why did he win it?
I just think, when you watch the fight, he outworked Pacquiao. He roughed him up, he pushed him around, he showed him, who was the boss. The 9th round, he almost got knocked out.
Wow.
When you see the rounds after that, how hard he came back.
Yeah.
In one of those rounds, that showed a lot of testament to, his heart and determination.
Considering, he's a friend of mine, I won't mention his name, he's a great man, he lives in America, and he's an Australian, a former heavyweight. He said the only way that Jeff Horn wins this fight is if Manny trips over on the way to the ring. Mm-hmm. I don't think we realise just what an underdog Jeff Horn was going to the ring that sunny afternoon in Brisbane. And your memories in the ring with Jeff, he came out looking for you. Is that probably the biggest mistake you can make with Terence Crawford? Nervous energy, adrenaline, and come to you attitude?
Well, that's his fighting style. You can't take nothing away from a fighter that's been fighting a particular style his whole career that he's been successful with. I do believe that, given the fact that he was bigger than me, he thought he was stronger than me, and thought that he could do me.
Bully you?
Yeah, do me the same way he did.
You said to me outside you weren't aware that he missed weight.
I didn't.
This Bomac must be some sort of freak. He must keep... I had an argument with Bomac.
It didn't matter. Listen, it didn't matter if he made weight, missed weight, he wasn't going to beat me. So, I say that with confidence, not cockiness. I was just, more prepared. I was more skillful. I was stronger. I was more durable. And
you read him like a book, if we're going to be honest. You read Jeff like a book. In fact, I said to Tony, I don't want to disrespect Jeff, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. I'm not saying you took the foot off the gas, but you were reading him that well that I think there was a part of you that thought, hey, I hope they stop this quite so short. I sort of sense that, even though you're a killer.
Yeah, you get those moments as a fighter.
That much in control.
When you're in total control, when you see fighters like Roy Jones Jr., he's beating a fighter and just one side, and he's telling the ref like, hey, stop the fight. The ref don't stop the fight, and he got to go out there and hurt the guy. Us fighters, we all do it for the same thing, and that's to provide for our family at the end of the day. So when we in the ring, the build up may be hectic and things like that, but all in all, we don't want to see the next fighter really get hurt to where it affects them after the fight with us.
Well, we thank you for that. I want to engage the crowd, and I said that before you walked in, prematurely by the way. But you guys out there, questions, I'm happy to come out onto the floor, which is what we'd like to do. And Tony said, let's get my members and the good people who have come out here on a Saturday morning in Sydney town, the harbour city, to greet and to see pound for pound number one in the world, Terence Crawford. Questions from the floor, I'll come and see you. Okay, I got you first, sir. If we don't get feedback, let's see how we go. Casey's got me covered. Maybe, if you've got a question, maybe come up to the ring. Probably everyone. But, sir, your name, and if I should know it, then excuse the ignorance. Are you playing basketball at the moment? Boxing? My God, Sebastian Fundora, he's here already. He's taller than you, by the way. Just. All right. Your question for Buck.
So I'm an amateur fighter, 1-0, undefeated, undisputed as well.
100%.
How do you plan to further invest in your community, especially in terms of boxing programs for the youth, and how should fighters in Australia do the same?
Well, currently I've got a non-profit organization, a boxing gym that's free to the public. You know, the kids can come there, train for free, learn life skills, and we currently in the middle of in the process of getting programs put in the gym, like welding, sewing, culinary arts. That way the fighters, if you know, for some odd reason they don't want to box, they can learn a trade for free. So that's my way of giving back to the community as well. I don't know like too much of Australia and how they do things and here, but that's something that you know they can look forward to as well, is you know put the time and energy into the youth, because they are you know a hope for the next generation.
Thank you, Terence. What's your name? Terror?
The Tower of Terror.
The Tower of Terror. We're going to be watching you, Mr. 100%. He's 1 for 1. This is Jason, Terence.
Hi, Terence. You're an absolute champion. I'm a boxing coach from Stronger Box down at Rhodes, and a lot of my fighters really look up to your legendary skills in the ring. Me as a coach, and I'm sure for a lot of aspiring other boxers too, we'd like to know what would be like your most favorite boxing drills that you would say has made the biggest difference for you in your like development of yourself.
It varies, you know. You can drill on the bag, you can drill footwork, you can drill hand movement. It just all depends on what that fighter is lacking. You know, if that fighter is lacking, you know, footwork, you want to drill him with footwork to get his footwork together. So again, it all depends on the fighter. You know what you want to drill. If the fighter got a bad left hand and he don't like to use his left hand, you want to drill him with the left hand so he can, you know, get more confidence in using it.
Makes it sound simple, doesn't it? Yeah, that's awesome. Your name, sir? Birdie.
Hey Terence, thanks for coming down. When you beat Canelo, where are you going to rank yourself top 10?
Yeah, that's Australian confidence. When, not if.
Because some of those guys in the top 10, Terence, have done some crazy stuff. They fight every month. They have same-day weigh-ins. Totally different sport. Me personally, when you beat Canelo, I put you top 10 because that's 3 undisputed weight divisions. But where do you rank yourself?
I don't want to like disrespect any of all the other greats that came before me. I definitely would say I'm the best in my generation, and I would be in the top 5 of all time for sure.
Wow. I'm not sure who said it. Again, going back to the MGM Grand, this man does what someone said to me, walking, it might have been Bomac, I've never heard it before. The great Johnny Lewis, who trains here with Tony every second or third day, Canastota Hall of Famer, the great Johnny Lewis. He said, Mark, I won't impersonate Johnny now, but he said, Mark, Sugar Ray Robinson could knock a man out with a left hook walking backwards. Terence Crawford does that kind of thing. And then someone said to me in America, he calls it walking backwards in the rain. where they're firing shots, missing, making them miss, and still countering on the back foot. That's almost impossible, you know. How do you do that?
Distance.
Distance.
You know, distance and, you know, accuracy.
Okay. Looking at too much weight. Take a lot of time, I gather.
That's what it is.
Yeah, preparation. Your name, sir?
Rocky.
Hey, Rocky.
Hey man, big fan. The day the fight against Canelo was announced, I took a loan out, I booked flights, I booked accommodation, I booked pre-booked tickets, bro. I'm up to like $15,000. Then they moved the date.
We let the English in here, by the way. We let the English into Australia quite often. But I'm looking at his ticket here, bro. Wow, there's a lot of zeros up, bro.
Like, I just want to know then, they moved the date and they talk of moving the location. I hope it's in the USA because I don't care. But if they move it to Saudi, I'm a bit iffy. Where would you like the fight to take place?
Well, it ain't where I like the fight to be. The fight will be in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Boom.
September 30th.
He's happy. He's happy. That's all right. That's Terence. There's a ticket. He ready.
So you good. You good. Yeah.
That's called dedication. That's called preparation. That's walking backwards in the rain.
Steve, it's lovely to see you, Terence. Do you have any advice for staying relaxed in the ring? And also, assuming you do a lot of visualization, what's your process for doing that?
Believe it or not, you know, I've been doing that as a kid, you know, staying focused and staying relaxed and not too relaxed, but, you know, not trying to exert too much energy because you're already exerting a lot of energy by moving and punching and things like that. So I want to be as relaxed as possible to let my shots come as natural as possible.
And any advice on visualization?
Well, you know, like I said, that's something that I've been doing as a kid, you know, visualizing where I want to be in life, what I want to accomplish in the sport of boxing, or where I want to go.
So we've got a lot to get through, and I've got a couple of vexing questions myself, and you can see you're very popular here. And these are just the ones that are brave enough to step up and ask a question, because you know that most people in life are more scared of public speaking than actually dying. So you're popular.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm not normal. Right. Scoop. Right. Your name, sir, and a question for Bud.
Hey Terence, my name is Nick. Massive fan. My family's a boxing family. Boxing saved my life. Now, what I want to know is, your upbringing was a tough upbringing. What advice do you have for the kids here today? Those that are doing it tough. You know, you got, was it 5 schools you got expelled from? Or,
I'm going to get to that, but I know it's talking about adversity and a lesson for kids.
What advice can you give the kids that potentially are on the brink of giving up, throwing in the towel? You never did. How'd you do it?
I would just tell them, you know, stay focused, stay consistent, listen to the people that want the best for you, you know, the great advisors, the great mentors, you know, because them the people that's really going to be a big help in you being successful in life. You know, there was plenty of times that I wanted to give up boxing and, you know, just stay in the streets, you know, but those mentors, you know, helped me, you know, be guided into the right path in life. So I think mentors is you know, God-given, you know, I was about to say talent, but I think, you know, mentors are sent from heaven, you know, because they want to see the best for you.
You got a little fan here, right? His name's Theodore. Now, I've never met Theodore, but I just thought, you know, we'll bring a little man up here. We're talking about children and our future. And Theodore, you got a question for Mr. Crawford. What's your question, Theodore?
What's your toughest fight, and what weight division was it?
My toughest fight was Gamboa. It was at the lightweight division. You know, Gamboa was fast, he was experienced, he was explosive. I got down in that fight, and I just had to stay focused and, you know, keep my poise and stick to the game plan.
I'm going to get in trouble here, but you jump. I reckon Casey's that quick on the socials. You go in there and there's a big click, and mum and dad are going to be pretty happy. I reckon there's a boy that's going to be pretty happy too. That's a big surprise for a kid. How good is that? See you all. I'm going to strip down. Not completely. Not Vegas. No, I got locked up in Vegas once. I got locked up in Vegas. That's a different story another time. We'll catch up. They take it serious over there. I was a victim of circumstance, sir. What? Your name, sir?
My name's Brett. Good to meet you, Terence. Interesting to hear you talk about a Gamboa fight, but I'm interested in the Matrimonial fight. I thought it was very even up until the last couple of rounds, and I just want to hear about if you thought he was a difficult puzzle for you to work out.
I didn't think it was even at all, you know.
So there.
I thought he was doing a lot of feinting, landing a punch here and there, and it definitely wasn't effective. So I thought he won max 3 rounds. That's how much I give him. So, you know.
I'm with you, Terence.
Me, in the last couple of rounds, I wanted to close the show being that he was the champion, and you got to beat the champion. So I just decided to pick it up because I know, you know, as the champion, you know, you got to beat him. So that's what I did in the last couple of rounds.
And also, one more.
Very quickly, because we're going to take 4 more, guys.
Quickly. Did you watch Charlie Suarez and Navarrete a few weeks ago? Charlie Suarez, a Filipino, and Navarrete.
No, I didn't.
Oh, thanks.
Honesty is the best policy. No, just saying it. You could have laughed it. All right. And your name is Gillian.
Exactly. Hi, Terence. I'm Kilian, amateur boxer for now. I wanted to know what do you do when your motivation or discipline are done?
You said, what do I do when my motivation is slipping?
Yeah, are done. Like,
I ain't never experienced that.
always, your mind is always on the top.
I'm self-motivated because, you know, all the doubters, you know, coming from where I come from, I was always told I couldn't be this, or I couldn't do this, or that's not going to happen. So keeping those negative thoughts in the back of my mind, you know, always led me and pushed me to drive to success. So anytime that I get down on myself, I always remember all those people telling me that I can't do it, and it's not going to happen, or I'm going to end up dead or in jail, you know. So those are the constant reminders that I have, you know, when I'm getting to a point where I'm losing motivation. Because we all lose motivation at times, but you just got to remember what you're doing it for and who you're doing it for.
There you go. You mean what? How do you lose motivation, boy? Your name and question, sir.
My name's Tim, big fan Terence. I wanted to ask the question, so after you beat Canelo, how many fights do you think you have left? And does the idea of going down to middleweight to become a 6-weight world champ appeal to you? Or what weight would you fight at?
I've got to say, middleweight hasn't been on the radar. It's one that I wanted to ask. What do we do about middleweight? Do we go back and crash that party as well?
Nah, I don't know. You know, like I said, I don't, you know, eat before my food on my table. So right now I'm at 168, about to prepare to fight Canelo. And that's the only thing I'm thinking about right now. I'm not thinking about nothing else.
I'd like to see just the consistency of my OCD. If we could just go back and crash middleweight as well on the way. I've just put it out there, Terence. If it doesn't get in the way of your plans, right? Yeah, thank you, Terence. All right, your name, sir, and question for pound. Where is Tassie?
Yep.
Pound for pound, #1 in the world. What? You know there are different ratings for different bodies.
Listen, brother. There's levels to this. I love Usyk. This man is another level, and like Mate, what are you going to say when he beats Canelo, man, and comes straight to
Well, I'm agreeing with
We're
you.
talking GOAT. No, we're talking GOAT conversation here. We're talking Ray Robinson, Ali, Sugar Leonard.
Hey, I think a sparring session's in order with you two. Seriously.
Let's do this right now.
Oh, Tassie. All right. I love his passion.
Hello, son. Where's
Hey,
Johnny?
Mate, I got Luke Jackson right next to you. He's my bodyguard, and I got Liam sitting behind him. So you get through them, and then come and see me, right?
It's coach, bro.
Oh, I don't mind. It's going to be a worldly question.
We'll go with that guy, bro.
Okay, Liam, you got him covered. Remember I said right hand, left hook. All right. We're just playing. We're playing. Your question, sir. You've asked your question? I lost my train of thought because I was having a nervous breakdown over Tassie. Your name and question for the champ.
Yes, thanks for coming out, bud. A common theme in your career seems to have been you being overlooked throughout the industry and not being given the credit that you deserve. And that people always seem to make excuses for the fighters that you just fought. He was too old, he was damaged goods, he had a car accident. There's always some excuse. So I'm just wondering, what excuse do you think Canelo's going to have when you become 3-time?
Wow! Look at that! Look at that!
You know, that was something that used to always get to me at times. But as I rose on the chart, it's gonna happen. It's boxing. You know, they don't give Floyd Mayweather any credit. They're not gonna give you no credit until you retire. Now they give you all the credit. So it's gonna be something. You know, it's gonna be. He's old, but I'm older than him.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. Oh, he stayed out the way too long. It's gonna be something. You know. So, but you can't worry about those negative people. You know, you need people like that as well because that's drives the game.
My idol, Mr. Muhammad Ali, said, "I may not be as great as I once was, but can I be as great for just one day?"
That's right.
Your question, your name and your question for the champ.
Hi, Terence. My name is Luke. I'm a huge fan. You're obviously a undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes. How do you define your legacy, and what are you still chasing?
Oh man, I define my legacy as a person that did it his way, a person that went against the boxing corporations like the promoters, top rank, going to court and suing them and all that things like that. This person is standing up for what he believes in. So I think when it's all said and done, I'm gonna be respected for being, who I wanted to be. And
Frank Sinatra, I did it my way.
And not who they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
They always wanted me to, act a certain way or put on a certain clown shows and things like that. And I always go against it like, hey, listen, I'm who I am, and that's, who I'm going to continue to be. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be remembered for being a stand-up individual at the end of the day.
There you go, sir. 2 quick ones. Oh my God, you're breaking my heart. We're going to do some stuff as well. Come quick questions for the champ.
My name is Tyson. I just wanted to ask, what advice would you give to an amateur fighter in transitioning to the pros, and what are things you would have done differently if you had the opportunity to?
You said what?
So what advice would you give to an amateur fighter in transitioning to the pros and the pro game, and what are things you would have done differently if you had the opportunity to?
The advice I give to amateur turning pro is making sure it's the right move. Make sure that you're ready. Because once you turn pro, ain't no turning back. And you can seriously get injured there. Make sure you got the right team around you, the right people that care about you, and go for broke. You gotta train your ass off.
I like it. He's got a good name.
Yeah.
Good name for a start. Tyson. Your name?
Hey Terence, my name is Amal. I'm an amateur boxer, 17 years old, and I've been offered a pathway to the next Olympics in LA, but I also want to turn pro as soon as I'm 18, which is next year. What is your best advice for me to do from this stage?
I would tell you to try to make the Olympics and, you know, perform, you know, your best at the Olympics because it's going to open up more opportunities for you.
Thank you very much.
Wow, great respect, young man. All right, little lady, you'll break my heart. This is our last question. You can quickly. That's okay. What's your name, little lady?
Hi, I'm Dior. I'm your biggest fan. I'm having my first fight soon. Can I get any advice?
Go out there, have fun. That's the best advice that I
Oh, God bless you. And good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, beautiful. How cool is she? All right, well done, Dior. Yes, quickly, so your last question. We've got a lot to get through.
It's David from Stronger Boxing at Rhodes. Yes. We understand that a lot of your success we can attribute to your unique fighting style. You're an ambidextrous boxer. You've got a wrestling background, which makes you very hard to bully around even with guys bigger than you. Is that something that fighters here could hope to develop with a regular boxing curriculum, or is that something unique that you would suggest that people do?
David. It works in many ways, you know, because when you look at certain wrestlers that try to go to boxing, they slower, you know, they don't have the fast twitch muscles like a person that's been boxing all their life, you know, have. I was blessed enough to have the foundation from wrestling to be strong and physically strong and, you know, not be too muscular, you know. So I think it's critical for, you know, fighters that want to become boxing to know how to control their body. So it don't got to be wrestling. I would put my kids in gymnastics because you get stronger, you know, and know how to control every movement on your body by doing gymnastics. So and it helps you with balance, like wrestling. So all three of those sports go hand in hand with balance and your foundation.
Find a way to tailor your body.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Wow. And I just speaking to Tony, I think we've got the most respectful crowd, hopefully, that you're enjoying here. Very chilled out Saturday morning. Bondi Boxing Club. Tony Delvecchio, head coach. Lynn Sandstrom put a lot of work into this in conjunction with your man, Tassie Brown. So if you're all comfortable, we might just continue. There's a couple of subjects I'd like to touch on where you're comfortable. You've answered pretty well around the subjects I was going. Let's do rapid fire, and if you've answered them, that's cool. But just boxing, your hero. Your hero in boxing.
Emma?
Your hero. Who is your hero in boxing?
I have a hero.
Okay.
I didn't have a hero. I didn't, you know, have a person that I wanted to be like.
Really?
Never. You know, I liked it.
Did you watch any old tape of Sugar Ray Robinson?
I watched. No, you haven't.
There's still some grainy black and white. He went to tap dancing. He went to tap dancing when he retired. That's how good he was.
1 second, Mark. I've got a question for you, brother.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
Tassie? No, I just have one question.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay,
All right.
Tassie the Tasmanian devil. No, but me personally, I was so like into myself being a leader that coming up, I never wanted to be like anyone. I never, you know, I like the things that people do.
Favorite fighter? Let's
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather. I liked Roy because we had so much in common. You know, he liked the fish. I love the fish. He loved the dogs. I love the dogs. He loved basketball. I love basketball.
Didn't he play a game prior to a fight, a world title fight?
For sure. So I can relate a lot to Roy. So that's why Roy will and forever be my favorite fighter. You know, Floyd Mayweather's work ethic, the things that, you know, he did in the ring, not outside the ring.
Spent some time with Mr. Jones here in Australia before the Green fight.
Yeah, so...
and he went hunting out west.